Hey there, welcome back to another episode of American Snippets. I am your co-host, Barb Allen. Very, very excited to be here today with somebody who I sort of crossed paths with indirectly a few years ago, when he beat me. And if I had to lose out to anybody, it would be this guy. I'm honored to lose out to Fahim Fazli. If somebody is out there today, if you're listening to the story, if you're driving, if you're not driving, it's best if you're able to pick up a pen and pencil, write some stuff down. You're going to want to hear what he has to say. He's got some great thoughts and comments on life in this country versus life in other country. Fahim is one of those people who has given so much to this country that he wasn't even born into. And he has risen above extraordinary circumstances to not only come over to America, but to give back to America and inspire other people living in this country to do amazing things with their lives through his work and through his mindset. And we're so appreciative to have you here today, Fahim.
First of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to invite me for your beautiful show. And I want to salute your husband. He paid his dues for this beautiful country. Unfortunately, he lost his life. Yeah. Rest in peace. He's a hero for America. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be part of this show.
Thank you. I'm glad. I know it took me a while to track you down and do this, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't beat you. Well, our book, we both even. You did it. It was a great book. You have a great book. And I don't want to call myself as a beater or as a winner. We are equal.
No, that's okay. Look, you could take the win. You deserved it. You worked it. And we are definitely going to talk about that now. People are probably like, what is she talking about? But yeah, so we'll get back to that now. But that was when my book, Frontier to Enemy, was up against Fahim's story with the Military Writers Society. And I lost to him. But once again, honored to do so because your story and you are just incredible.
Thank you.
You are today. We'll start with where you are today, and then we're going to circle back. So people listening are going to know what you're up to, what we're going to be getting into, and then we're going to circle back and dig into it. Okay. You sure. Are, today you're in Hollywood.
I'm in Hollywood, California, and I've been acting for 22 years. And that was my dream. That was my passion, to follow my dream. But I had two other passion and dream, which is paying my dues for this beautiful country. And the way I came in this country saved me from the communists. The communists was destroy Afghan, 1979, 3 million of us.
Yeah.
And thanks to Ronald Reagan, thanks to the American Church in Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, Robert Filney, the priest, sponsor us to bring us in this beautiful country. But I pay my dues, wait in line, not come to this country illegally, wait in line, make sure the right paperwork, make sure I'm not a criminal, make sure I don't have a bad past. Yeah. And I wait in line and then come to this beautiful country and I follow my dream, become an actor. Later on, I pay my dues as a Marine, as a culture technical advisor for this beautiful country.
I love it.
We wrote a book together, me and my colonel I was working in Afghanistan, Colonel Moffat, and it's called Fahim Speaks.
Yep, love it.
You can have more than one dreams, right?
You have a lot of dreams, and you're teaching people how to reach theirs. So you gave that great overall snapshot. Now we're going to dig in. Fahim, you were born in Afghanistan. Your family experienced immense turmoil and disruption when the communists invaded. Your mother left with your sisters. You and your father and your brother stayed behind. And tell us, first of all, there was that day it all started. You were like 12 years old when you came home from school?
I was 12 years old when 1979, the Russian invaded Afghanistan. They took Afghanistan over 24 hours. My mom was a midwife for the president of Afghanistan. My dad was a president of National Bank, and they both very high educated people. And we came from the King family with the King tribe, which is Mohammedzai, Barighzai, Achikzai. We have the big tribe in Afghanistan. We run the country for almost 400 years.
Wow.
And I'm not bragging about it, where I came from, but was the Russians, they came to, especially the commies. The commies, they want to come to kill the educated people, which is where our family Afghanistan's only 20% educated people, 90%, I mean, 80% is not educated. That time, 1979, I'm not sure how many educated. And they want to kill all the top as soon as possible. But my mom come over from work, from her work. She start crying. She says, Fahim, we're leaving. And I thought I'm leaving too. Me and my brother and my father and my two sister and brother. And all of a sudden, my dad was being a little stubborn, hold me and my younger brother, Aris. He said, can I hold these two? And his belief was, we Afghan can defeat the communists overnight, which is, we have a history, Afghanistan called the graveyard of empire. And we defeat the British 3 times 18th century. We defeat 16th century Mughal, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, and the Russian invade Afghanistan. My dad was thought we're going to defeat them overnight. But my mom says, no, I know the communists is very dangerous and I have to leave before they kill me, because she was working for the president of Afghanistan. She took my two young sisters, which is did the right thing, and my older brothers to be as a security for her. And they left overnight, and I didn't see them for 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And after that, I was demolished. I was 12 years old, and I couldn't figure out you lose your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know this is hard to talk about, and I appreciate you being willing to do so.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm joking.
You know what? I really appreciate this on a lot of levels. And one of the questions I was going to ask, you know, it's hard for people in this country to, you know, a lot of people are tired of the wars and tired and wondering why we're there and why are we doing this? Why are people dying? And so you're representing the people of Afghanistan,
That's why,
you know, and you're humanizing this. Yeah.
That's why I'm so upset to American kids and they take advantage of this country. They take this country for granted. They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
They don't know what they have in this beautiful country. They have lights, they have electricity, they have the best mom. I'm not all of you guys, but they still, I mean, you guys been blessed.
Yeah.
This country has been blessed. That's why I was freaking out 12 years old. My mom left and I became a freedom fighter, which is I was helping the freedom fighter how to defeat the communists. And I lost interest in go to school, and I lost interest in to be focused on who I am. And that was my dream. I had a dream that time. I want to be actor, become an author, become a Marine, Afghan Marine that time. And I asked myself 6 questions. The 6th question was, who am I? Who I want to be? Where I want to be? What's my dream? What's my passion? And I had that 6th question when I was 10 or 12 years old. And I brought that 6th question with me in this beautiful country. I follow it. That's why I'm established and successful, and I pay my dues for this beautiful country.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate all of that. So your mom and some of your siblings leave, and like you said, you started working with the freedom fighters. How does that happen? I know you said you were handing out flyers and then you worked like as a double agent, you were trading goods with American logos, but like, what was the moment? You can't just walk out in the street and be like, hey, I want to volunteer for you, right? Like, so how does that happen?
I want to thank Ronald Reagan always to help Afghan, and Charlie Wilson himself helping Afghanistan, and Israelis, German, all the other countries are helping the Afghans to defeat the communists. I'm pretty sure I was too young to understand. I'm sure I was working with this store. He was repairing shoes, shoe repair, an old man. And I'm putting 2 and 2 together. He was working for CIA or Pakistan or Saudis or German or Israelis intelligence. And that's they approached me because, hey, do you want to pass flyers? I give you $2, $3, $1 compared to Afghani money. And I was so into it, buying kites and go to movie. And I didn't care about the politics. I didn't care who I'm damaged, who I'm trying to scare. Now I'm looking at the story, what I did. I did a lot of dangerous things, and I'm honored I did it. I'm honored to damage those commies. And those store owner work for, and thanks to Charlie Wilson and Ronald Reagan, sent the Stingers later on to defeat the communists. And we Afghan was getting help by all Western countries. And that's I didn't know that guy was shoe repair guy was a CIA, but he was Afghan. Right. He was working with the Pakistan to Saudi, Saudi to America, and they're all connected together. Now I'm putting two and two together, and that make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So at 12 years old, I mean, I have 4 boys, and they were all 12 years old at one point, and my stepson is just under 12. So, you try to picture that. If everybody listening can picture yourself at 12 years old, picture your children at 12 years old, and what you were doing and what your children are doing. And now here's a 12-year-old boy who came home from school, found out, his country has been invaded. His mom and his siblings are leaving. He's here with his little brother and his dad, now working with the freedom fighters and doing these things to hand out flyers, and then ultimately going on to the bases of the Russians and trading with them.
I was trading American logo T-shirts. And I was, I don't know if you're old enough to understand the name of the cigarette was Kent and Elam. American cigarette was Elam car, and Kent was there. And I used to give them the American cigarette, and I used to give them California logo T-shirts. And they give me handgun, they give me tools, they give me a bunch of stuff, magazines. As much as I can, I was trading back and forth. And guess who was buying from me? That old guy was shoe repair. The shoe repair guy, I'm sure he died by now. That time he was 60 years old.
Yeah.
And he was giving me money, and I was so happy for $2, $1, and trade all these big expensive stuff. And I'm pretty sure he was using against the Russian. And the number one technique the CIA or our military freedom fighters, they taught us how to defeat the Russian, sell them opium or hashish by 6 o'clock p.m. And kids was selling them hashish by 6 p.m. By 12 or 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, we heard all of a sudden, boom, 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 they're attacking them because they get too high. Wow. They were getting high. That was one of the technique how to defeat the Russian. We Afghan known for guerrilla fighters. We're good fighters. We're very, one of the German professor says, Afghan people, they're not for sale, but they're for rent.
Nice. Very nice. Wow. All right then. So, then we'll circle back and I'll follow that one up with another question. Sure. What would you like the rest of America to know about people, families like yours, people like you who are still in Afghanistan, just doing their best to survive? I'm sure you hear things, or maybe people have said things to you. I don't know if you get people with bad attitudes towards you or whatnot, but it's hard for us to fathom or understand life and over there, and people get tired of it. People get tired of fighting these wars and paying the bills and seeing our men and women come home injured.
As your husband fought for this country, you want to bring a peace for this country because 9/11 happened, and I'm saluting him. Rest in peace for him. And I did it because I want to pay my dues for this country because this country gave me a lot. I have one advice. Actually, I'm not going to call it advice because nobody asked me for advice. I'll give you guys one tip. And this is a correct English. I give you guys tip, American tip. Enjoy as much as you can. Enjoy it as much as appreciate this country. Don't take it for granted. Think about your hot water, cold water, your microwave, your lights, your street, your shopping center. And I have one request for all the schools. They should have one class, a common sense class.
Yes.
And we do shoving technology to our kids' mouth. We do shoving technology to our kids' I call it technology invisible casualty. We shoved them to shut them down. I call technology babysitter, invisible babysitter. Yes, we should not go invade countries. We should not go be a police of the world. But you have to understand, people like Saddam, people like Noriega, people like Bin Laden, people like abuse their people. But someone has to stand up to protect those poor countries. Those countries been through torture by what do you call it, boogeymans, and that one boogeyman run the country for 10, 20, 30 years, like Saddam did, like Gaddafi did, like some of the Afghan communists did it, some of other countries, Southeast or Midwest or Central America.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to go protect them. But there's a catch behind it. As a catch behind it, we have uranium, lithium, natural gas, and United States always want to invade those kind of countries or clean it up, the communists, or clean it up, the terrorists or hijackers. But there's nothing wrong with the religion. Nothing wrong. People is the one that hijack the religion. People become a fundamentalist Christian, Catholic, Muslim. There's nothing wrong with religion. And those countries are like, especially Afghanistan. When I was there, 2009, 2010, has been scanned. They scan Afghanistan, the richest country in the world. But you have to understand, our government, United States, we have a good agenda as well to bring people back to work, not focus them to become a terrorist or not focus them to become using guns. If the United States go help Afghanistan digging all these lithium or indium, natural gas, all these things, you can put people back to work. Yeah. I'm sure everyone have a benefit of it.
I'm sure. So let's talk now. You were behind in Afghanistan, half your family's gone. And then one day the principal of your school calls your dad and says they'd like to send you to Siberia.
Yeah, that was a scary part. That time I was 13. No, that time I was 14. 2 years later, my dad was about to give up, find a woman, go get married. He's good looking. He deserves it. He didn't see his wife, my mom, for 5 years. And he has a lot of pressure on him as too. The commies put him pressure on him to become a communist. They give him the fancy car. And one day the principal called my dad. He says, your son is very intelligent and very aware. I don't see a good future in this country. Why don't you guys send him to Siberia to get trained, become a little communist, which is most of communists go from, like example, Cuba or North Korea. They all go to Siberia. There's a camp. Like they train them to become a little communist and bring them back. And my dad looked at me and said, do you want to go? I started crying and I said, Dad, I want to go where my mom is. And that time I didn't know where my mom was. My mom left west and we didn't know what country, because the communists was monitor our letters, our mail, make sure we don't know where my mom was. And the next 2 days later, 5 a.m, my dad wake us up without any warning. And he says, put this jacket on. I put that jacket on and I felt that there was something inside of that jacket. And he says, shut up. This is all cash. He sewed the cash between jacket and a pocket. Wow. He gave me one jacket and he gave me this different jacket to my brother. He had this different jacket. When the money he had, he pulled it out and he left. We left 5 a.m. There was a Jingo truck, got in the Jingo truck and heading towards Pakistan, which is south. And we got pulled over after 3 hours later of our journey, pulled over. And guess who was the checkpoint? One of my cousin. He became a communist 5 years ago or 3 years ago. He looked at us. I look at him. Then I turn my head down. And my dad says, go sit the other seat. He's going to come in up. But I want to salute him. I want to love him. I want to love him forever. I wish I can know where he is right now. I heard he's in Germany. I want to find him. He didn't say anything. He just looked at us eye to eye and smile and walk out.
Wow.
And they tell the Jingo truck, you can leave. That was our journey, and took us 7 nights. And the Jingo truck later on stopped somewhere between 1,000 miles from Pakistan and the Kabul city. There was a Russian checkpoint. The second checkpoint was a Russian, and the Jingo truck guy says, "Why don't you guys walk west? All these mountain, 22,000 feet high mountain." And took us 7 nights, 7 days to arrive in Palachanar, Pakistan.
So
Yep.
was it just the three of you? Just the
three
three
of
you?
us and Coyote guy.
And Coyote
And
guy.
a coyote, yeah.
Just walking across the mountains. So I mean, what was that like? I mean,
cold,
you know,
and frozen, and helicopters above us. The Russian was looking for us because someone leaked information. One of the villagers was being a double agent, or what do you call it, a spy for the Russian. And I never forget that. I was 13, 14, 15. And I'm 15 years old, and I saw the chopper. But the coyote taught us, when the choppers come in, spread out, go hide behind the bushes, behind the rock. But they give us a what do you call it? You guys call it Afghan, the blanket.
Okay.
And they call
Ironic,
it. They call it. Yeah, it's called shawl.
Okay.
They call it shawl. The shawl, the Afghan, the blanket was almost color of the stone or dirt, and we cover ourselves. And the chopper was circling, and tried looking for us. And thanks God, that's happened like 4 or 5 incidents. We didn't get caught.
Jesus,
and
so they were specifically looking for you. They weren't even just patrolling, looking for random people. Just
not. I was nobody that time. I was 15. My dad was known. My dad was very known in Afghanistan. Very high level of what do you call it? Position.
Yeah.
And they were looking for him. Somebody leaking information from Kabul city. The guy, the Jamil Fazli left. We have to look for him, because when the time we were in Afghanistan, and they used to call us CIA kids, which is, hey, where's your mom? The CIA is boom, boom, your mom. All these dirty words. The kids was calling us name and call us busters. They call us, I don't want to name all the names. Yeah. They use a lot of bad words, and we were crying. We used to cry. We tell my dad, these kids call us CIA kids, and imperialism. They used to call us cowboy son, because Ronald Reagan was a cowboy.
Wow, things that we see, we would never ever think of this. Crazy. So you guys make it to Pakistan, and then you're in a refugee camp.
We were in a refugee camp for 2 years. Before we get registered to become a refugee, we have to go the whole process, get the ID card from Pakistan. And we have to, meanwhile, we didn't make the decision, go to embassy. We had a rumor my mom is in America. Then we went to Islamabad, the American embassy. And I look at this good-looking guy, 25 or 30 years old. That time I was 15, 16. And his chic and very clean cut Marine stand up front with a gun, stand up front of the embassy. And with our broken English, with our broken sign language, we make him to understand who we are. We're looking for my mom. Then he went to write it down, our name, my mom name, how many of us there, how many of us here. He says, why don't you guys come back in 5 days or 10 days? We cannot find your mom. Your mom didn't left from Pakistan as a refugee 5 years before us. Then we come 5 years later, 5 days later, and that Marine was look at me, a big smile. Yeah. He says, we found your mom. I'm sorry, I get emotional.
Yeah, it's an emotional story, you know. It's a crazy experience.
5 days later, the Marine gave me a smile, and he says, we found your mom, but your mom didn't left from Pakistan. They left from India, which is, we didn't know how the refugee was two refugee camp, one in India, one in Pakistan. And he says, we know where your mom is. Your mom is in Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia. And some church sponsored them. And the priest was named Robert Filney. And he says, this is the phone number and this is the address. Why don't you contact them? And that was, we went to change some coins. We went to stand up and phone. There was a booth. People when Pakistan, when they use phone, they have to go stand up, make appointment if you want to call Europe or call the United States. And I remember we had that much coins, Pakistani coins, and we were after 10, 15 people. We got in the phone, and the phone number, I never forgot that, 703-489-32, Virginia.
Wow.
And we put the coins, I don't know how much we put. My mom answered the phone. My dad talked to her. Hi, Fahima. Her name is Fahima. This is Jamil. And I heard in 2 seconds, they already started yelling at each other. My mom was yelling to my dad after 5 years. He said, don't lie to me. You already got married and Fahim and Harris got killed.
Wow.
I'm not supposed to cry. Men don't cry,
Yes,
but men
they do.
have.
Yes, yes. No, it's all good.
She's one of my aunt living in Virginia. They came the same time to Virginia. Wants to get rid of my mom, go back to your husband. Made a story. Jamil got married some young woman, and Fahim and Aris got killed in the war. Then my dad was trying to says, no, that's all lie. That's all stupid. One of my aunt, my sister, my dad's sister. And here you go, talk to Fahim. This is Fahim. No, I don't believe you. You don't believe you. And I pick up the phone. My voice, of course. Hi, mommy.
Yeah.
I changed.
Yeah.
17 years old. From 12
Different
to
from 12.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say, who's this? I'm saying, Mom, this is Fahim. I said, no, you're a man. Fahim was a young boy. I'm saying, Mom, because she lost it.
Mm-hmm.
She lost it because she lost the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Damaged, been damaged, therapy, all these things. Then I start crying and I put the phone to Aris, my brother, and he did try. His voice changed too, became a man. And thanks God, she put things. Okay, tell me where was the restroom, where was our toilet, where was our bakery. I put it all together, and what I was doing for a living. Mom, you were a nurse, midwife, this. I would put it together, and all of a sudden she's tuned down, and she says, "Okay, I love you guys." She went to talk to the priest, Robert Filney. I found my kids and my husband. Thanks to the church. Thanks to Christian, that church, what they did to our family. And thanks to my dad, he made a decision to not put us in Siberia to become a communist. And I want to thank my mom, was being tough. And my hero left communist. She made the first step and my dad did the second step. And thanks to American, thanks to Ronald Reagan, and thanks to the church sponsor us to come to Virginia, and took us 2 years, all the paperwork, wait online, do the right way, attempt like your great grandfather, all American, they came from somewhere else. They wait in line, not illegally, which is, I'm honored to be part of this country. I'm honored to be called myself Afghan born, an American citizen, an adopted country. I never call America as I'm Afghan American. I say America is my country. Afghanistan is my birth country. And that's why later on I made a decision. And we were staying in Virginia. We arrived in Virginia, and I look at my mom, and there's a newspaper. I will send it to you. The first capture of the newspaper. That was my first fame started from there. We were all over the news and all over the newspaper. And we started from there, and later on we moved to California.
Wow. All right. So
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
I appreciate that you're willing to do this, and do that. It is it's a hard story to listen to. I'm doing it right because I know it has a happy, we're going to happy places, and I really have great respect for people who go through anything that challenges them, let alone on the level that your family has had, and comes out the other side.
I hope, I'm thinking I do have a PTSD, but PTSD, we're not a handicap.
No.
We're not a handicap. One of the journals, I'm going to send you the clip of one of the journals say, we're not a handicap.
No.
But we do get emotional. We do get hesitated by noise, by things. Yes. But overall, still, we get damaged. I mean, not damage. What's the word? What's the right word? We've been through a lot. Mm-hmm. We've been through all these Marines, Army, Navies. I mean, I salute them. I love them. I love this country so much. I did work with Army too, with Fort Benning, Georgia. I work with Special Force. I work with Navy SEALs. I work with the Marines. And I'm honored to call them. I don't call them individual names. They're all my brothers. They're all soldiers of the United States.
Love it.
And yeah, I mean, if they divide themselves, I'm a Marine, I'm Army, listen, we all won.
You got to have a little competitiveness. You got to go there a little bit. So you're reunited, your family's back together. Did you start school right away? Was it difficult to get back together with your family? What were those first few weeks like when you're...
The first week, Robert Filney, I've never been a farmer. Robert Filney has a big farm. And he said, Fahim, do you want to work? And of course, I have a hard time with English. That time I was 19. And I was going grab one of those what do you call them when you put a haze on it and you go past for the cows? What do you call those?
Tractor.
Tractor. Yeah, he put me, I said, do you know how to drive a tractor? I'm saying, sure, I do, without license.
Yeah.
Then I was passing haze, and I was cleaning the church. I was mopping the church. I was cleaning I started that first job. Then later on, my uncle was in California. He lives here more than 50 years, and they says, why don't you guys come to California? It's a better weather, and we're all Afghan communities here. Then I made a decision. We all made a decision, moved to California. And my first job was I was trying to go to school. They wouldn't accept me because I was too old for the high school. Yeah. Then they put me in adult school to learn English. And to be honest with you, I wish I didn't go there because I learned Spanish first, then Chinese, then English.
God.
And now I have a problem with spelling. When I write it, if someone say write a car, I write it K-A-R. The way you pronounce it, the way you hear it. The Spanish, the same thing. But thanks God, I'm learning Spanish and Chinese a little bit and here, there. I was very disappointed because I couldn't get into school. I was too old for that. And I did my adult school, and my parents was a refugee. They gave us 18 months time limit to become a refugee. After that, so you have to stand up on your own feet. What I did the first time, the first paycheck, I liked it. There was $760. I remember the second paycheck, I tear it up. I'm man enough to work in this country. I'm man enough to make more money.
Wow.
My dad looked at me. He says, "Why are you doing this?" I'm saying, "Dad, this country give us a lot of brothers that's done this country, and I don't want to sucking their bloods from people like you, pay tax, and I'm getting free check. I'm sitting for 18 months, and I teared up my second check, and I went to become a chef because I love to cook, and I was making almost $2,000, better than $700.
Nice.
Then I start paying tax. I pay it, and then working Nordstrom, working as a contractor. And thanks God I got fired from Nordstrom because I was top salesman. One of the guy comes look at the customer. Why you buy from him, not from me? I'm the best seller, and I look at him. I call him name, and they fire me. And I said, that's it. I pulled that sixth question. Who am I? Who I want to be? Where I want to be? What's my dream? What's my passion? Then right away go to Hollywood as a work as an extra. Thanks God I got fired in Nordstrom.
Yeah, see? Sometimes the endings that may be tempted to be upsetting, they're really just letting you free, right?
Actually, I want to go find the manager like
and
25 years ago. I want to say thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Getting
for
fired was the best thing. So yeah, we'll go quickly into this now. I want to get to this whole thing, before we are out of time. So you then go to Hollywood because you want to be an actor, but you also have this desire to serve. So you tried to get into the Marines. It didn't work out. Then you managed to go. So this is like, you're in this terrible situation. You go to another situation, then you go to another situation. You make everything ultimately work for you with patience and persistence. The Marines didn't work. And so then you wind up in Hollywood, but you don't just like hang out and wait tables while you're waiting. You wind up being a consultant to like some of the biggest names out there. How does that even happen?
As always, when you cancel, I'll just give you guys a good example. I want to give everybody a tip. When you flight cancel, when you get pulled over by police officer, it's a light. It's a sign for you. I got fired by Nordstrom, and I was looking at myself. How many languages I speak? 6 languages or 7 languages. Then go work as an extra in Hollywood. Thanks to that 6th question.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I heard, do you speak Pashto? Do you speak Dari? I'm saying, yeah. Hey, we got a job for you working with Charlie Wilson, which is Tom Hanks. They want to send you to Morocco as a culture technical advisor. I'm saying, yes, baby, let's do it.
Let me see if I can fit that in. Yeah.
Yeah. Then incident. Yeah. You have to rewind what I told you early. The Marine guy in Pakistan embassy. Yeah. I was looking at him. I'm saying, I want to be like him one day. And later on, I came here. I want to go pass the test in Hacienda Heights, California, as a Marine. Right. And guess what? I failed.
Work. Yeah.
It didn't work. I was keep pushing those little box, make a hole. Then as a computer, I was just guessing.
Yeah.
I didn't go through. Then I push other gear. I'm not a quitter. Let's put it that way. And you have to understand that 6th question was in my mind since when I was 10 years old, 12 years old. Then I use my acting skill. Then I use all those communists I was chasing, being double agent in Pakistan, refugee. I put it combined together. I took it as a benefit. I took it as an experience. I'm saying all these experience I have, all this beautiful knowledge I have, why cannot give it to Hollywood?
Yeah.
Then Charlie Wilson I did Iron Man, then keep back and forth, back and forth. I did 20, 30, 40, 50 movies. I was keep growing, keep going. Thanks to 9/11, I became a terrorist.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, it's like not funny, but it is funny. It's
it
but you know,
funny. We lost 3,000 Americans.
Yeah.
We lost 100,000 Afghan, Iraqis. This. I'm not laughing, but
it's
for some of
it's
us,
ironic. Yeah, it's
There we
very
go.
ironic the way it all goes. For us, 9/11 was the beginning of our end. You know, it's what the
There we
event
go.
that set. But
There
I mean,
we
you
go.
have to be able to find the humor in it. And so the humor of you escaping this horrible situation in Afghanistan and going through everything that you went through to come over here to wind up in Hollywood. And now you're playing the very men and people that you fled from. It's a wild story. Like, it's crazy. And you do it with a heart.
I was the one escaped from them.
Yeah.
Now I act like them in front of the camera.
But I mean, you do it with a purpose.
Be honest with you, it's not bother me play as terrorists. Yeah. Thanks God, lately I'm playing good guy. I'm playing father,
right,
and tribe leader. Yeah, these people hijack the religion. Like I said, nothing wrong with the religion. And I want to introduce these people, how boogeyman they are.
Yeah.
How they hijack our women's right. They hijack our woman country. They hijack our religion. They hijack our fun, TV, dancing, movie industry. They hijack everything. But I don't want to talk about go forward with politics. Right. I know somebody's behind them. Who's supporting them? Who's find them? Who's giving money? But I don't want to go that far. But I would love to introduce them. They are wrong.
Yeah.
Same thing with other religion when they hijack the religion. And it's so wrong. They're so wrong. Yeah. They introduce religion as a boogeyman. There's nothing wrong with the religion. Yeah, I've been playing terrorists left and right, and I'm enjoying it. Then 9/11 happened, and I was watching TV, and I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What I have done for this country? I asked myself a question. This country gave me a shelter. This country saving me from the communists. This country gave me a ID, driver license. Later on, I became a citizen. Why I cannot pay my dues for this beautiful country? I called the number, Mission Central in Virginia. I'm saying, hi, how are you? My name is Fahim Fazli. I'm Afghan. And the first question you ask, do you have a criminal record? I'm saying, no. Do you have any felony or misdemeanor? I said, no. They said, okay, we're going to send you a bunch of questions, 100 questions. And I passed all those questions. Clearance. I got my clearance. I got my top secret. And with the skill I have, the language, I was thinking like your husband, ma'am, your husband want to pay his dues for this beautiful country. And why I'm sitting here as a foreigner or as an immigrant, enjoy my life, and American go fight for this country, and I'm collecting money here. Yeah. And it's so wrong. Why cannot I get up to stand up, go shoulder to shoulder with this gentleman, Army, Marines, this. I want to pay my dues as well for this beautiful country. Thus, I made a decision, and I speak 4 to 5 languages. And thanks to U.S. Army, and thanks to Pentagon, thanks to the CIA interview, I passed. You want to hear the funny part? Yes. When I did my interview with CIA in Baltimore, the guy sitting doing, what's your name? What do you do for living? Where are you from? What do you do for living? I'm an actor. What kind of actor? Terrorist. What? You're not joking, sir. This is a CIA interview. I'm saying, sir, I'm not joking. I'm saying I'm doing terrorist. Then he went to a different computer. IMDb this. You are a terrorist. And I passed the test, and I did my training on Fort Bennett, Georgia, with Army. And they later on, Pentagon decided to send me with the Marines. I did all my training with 29 Palm. Then I ended up to Afghanistan, and thanks God, my time, nobody got killed, no Marine died, no civilian died. And I'm pretty sure you check my background. I got American flag, which is that's why I have respect for this. And they gave me, they pulled it on the American flag down, and they gave me a lot of challenge coins. They get applauded. I got all over the news. I'm saying, yes, I did it. Yeah. I did it. I can keep my heads up. Hey, if people ask me, where are you from? I'm saying, no, where are you from? I pay my dues for this country. Where are you from?
Yeah. Yeah, that is great. What was it like to be back in Afghanistan? Now, that was your home, and now you come back as an American working with the Marines. What was that like to be on Afghan ground again?
They called me traitors.
Yeah.
Other damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
They call me, you're selling our country for American. They told me bad word to my mother, to my father. They call me a lot of bad words. But I look at them, they've been brainwashed by fundamentalists.
Yeah.
They've been brainwashed, translate the Quran the wrong way. I was not only a linguist, I was a priest too. I was a mullah too. I was teaching them what part of the Quran says go blow up yourself.
Yeah.
What part of the Quran says you hate Christian or Catholic or Jews? Show me. Then I'll be honest with you, I did educate a lot of people. That's why the Taliban put a price on my head, because I was trying to bring people towards me. And thanks to Captain Benson, he had a cross, and we were patrolling for 4 or 5 days nonstop. Of course, we sleep in ditches and mountains. And one villagers come over, is very pissed off. They say, "Why this American here? Oh no, why this Russian here?" I said, "What? He's not Russian." You see, they kept him on so dark.
Yeah.
Russian left like 20 years ago. They thought it's still the Russian is in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Then I educate that poor guy and said, "This is Captain Benson. Captain Benson is a Christian. He believes Jesus. He believes Moses. He believes the book, the Bible." Then because Afghan, they believe Torah, Bible, Quran. They believe 4 books. And they believe Jesus as a prophet. They believe Moses as a prophet. Same thing like a Muhammad.
Yeah.
And I educate that guy. And Captain Benson pulled his cross. You see, I'm Christian. And the guy start kissing him, kiss the cross. And I wish I have that scene videotape. I was here. I mean, even Captain Benson was. Now he's a Major Benson. He's in Quantico, Virginia. I love you, man.
Nice.
He's a good man. And Staff Sergeant Cook, he's in Quantico. Gunny is Gunny Cook. And thanks to Michael Moffat, which is coming later. Yeah, we were there. I did a lot of save. Not only I saved, the Marine did a good job, build a mosque, build a day, bring a well, bring a water, school. We did work as a team. Same thing with the Army. I worked with them in Afghanistan. They did a lot of good things. And I want to salute them. I know TV, Fox, or CNN, all these TVs try to divide us, which is so wrong. All I'm asking the media, please unite us, not divide us. We all one American, we all one human, we all Adam Eve children. I don't know what this costs them to, why they want to do this way. And look, America, in my eyes, what a beautiful country this country is. Look, America, what I did for this country. You can do that. You can do that. Yeah, I was very successful. I was very established with my translation. And the Colonel, General Mills, General Nicholson, they were very happy with me. And I salute them. I salute them. I pay my dues for this country. I'm honored to be part of this country.
Well, that's what we're doing here. That's what the whole reason we started American Snippets, is to start like drowning out all the divisiveness and the anger, right? And remind everybody, A, of all the extraordinary people in this country, and B, especially people like you, have a great message for all of us. So we're so happy to be able to share it. So let's talk now quickly. We're going to get to the rest of this. You wound up, you worked with the Marines, you supported the Marines, you built a successful Hollywood career, which is still building as we speak. You're getting, more and more entrenched in Hollywood and you have bigger projects coming up. You've been in, probably we've all seen you in movies that, because you've been in
American
the,
Sniper,
yeah,
American Snipers, Rock the Casbah, SEAL Team.
yeah.
I just did the Barry, the TV show with the Fonzie, and my new movies just came out, St. Judy, and I did a NCIS. I did like 150 American Sniper, which is I did it. Rock the Casbah with Bill Murray, which is I have the biggest role. And I did a John Legend video music. It's called The Preach. I did it too. And I did a Lenny Kravitz video music on that too.
Yeah, so cool. And I mean, there's people who were born and raised here who've never done half the things that you've done. So I think that's an excellent example.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll be honest with you, ma'am.
You don't have to call me ma'am.
As a respect, because you're an officer, you're an officer wife. That's why.
That's all right.
Used to it.
I'm just Barb, but go ahead. It makes me nervous.
Barb.
You call me ma'am. I feel like I'm back like in the court martial process. Yes. I'm like, oh, like.
Yeah, that's all coming from my mom. My mom was my role model. My mom she wasn't a quitter. And she teaches us how to appreciate life. I mean, I'm established, I'm accomplished, I've done so many things. Where'd that come from? From my mom, and thanks to my dad. He didn't make me communist.
You could do a lot of things, Dad, but thank you for not making me be a communist. I mean, it's a crazy sentence to say, and it's real. Like, hey, Dad, thanks for not making me be a communist. Like, you get him the T-shirt, like, my dad didn't make me a communist. But like, it's a joke to us, but it was like real. That's wild. That stuff can still happen today. How is the rest of your family today? Your brothers, your sisters? Can I ask how they're doing?
Good.
Yeah,
they're very good. I love them. They support me. They care about me, and they call me the black sheep of the family.
We all have one. Yeah.
Yeah. I do support them. I do care about them. I do respect them, and I have one beautiful daughter, Sophia. And she's an actress as well. She started becoming an actress. Awesome. And I'm honored. She's the most beautiful daughter in the world, and I love her to death. Yeah, I'm doing good. My mom passed away, by the way.
Yeah.
My mom passed away 2011, age of 66. The funny part is she was my role model. It's not the funny part. The sad part is she died age of 66, and I born 66.
Wow.
And I'm scared of it. I hope I'm not going 66. I want to live. I want to live like 95.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good goal. That is a good goal. All right, your book. I had a copy and I don't know where it went, and I ordered another one and it didn't get here in time. That's how organized I am. But back when we were both up for the Military Writers Society Award, that's when I picked up a copy of your book. I got to meet Colonel Moffat there, who was such a nice guy. Like, I'm this new author and I'm competing against him. And he's like, hey, come. He was just so cool, so down to earth. I sent you that picture I have of us because he was like nice, and that's when I first heard of you and your story. And I've been following you, ever since, seeing what you're up to and watching you and learning from you, even when you didn't know I was there, kind of like creeper stalking, right? But
no, you don't.
So how did you come about? You guys met over there and became friends, and he always wanted to write a book. You wanted to tell your story. It was a perfect match, right? And now that's out there.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, that's okay.
I was in ceasefire between Marine and Taliban and sub-government. Yeah. I was sitting with Afghan sub-governor and the Marines sitting on the other side of the table. Of course, I was working with American, but I have to sit the other side to translate for the Afghan.
Okay.
And the guy with the long beard, bunch of machine guns, they all have a machine guns. I'm saying, hey, Fahim, you can make him to fight each other or bring him peace. And thanks God, I was doing the right translation. Thanks God. This kind of incident happened before. One side is the Taliban, one side is the Marine, and I'm in the middle. And thanks God I have enough knowledge to not piss each side of them off.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
there's
it's going to be
trouble.
like this.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Yeah.
If this guy using F word, the Marine says, what he says, sir, he's not happy. If this guy using F word to tell the Afghans, sir, he's not happy. I wasn't doing the right. Bad word translation. Yeah, he was, Colonel Moffat was sitting across the table, big table, like almost 100 feet tall. And he's look at me, he say, where are you from? I say, I'm from California. He said, I heard you're in Hollywood, this. I'm saying, yes, sir. He asked me, why you quit Hollywood? I'm saying, no, sir, I'm not a quitter. I take a break. I want to come here, pay my dues. He says, what an interesting story. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy, real guy. And he said, why don't you write a story about your story? And I had a little radio. I was recording everything, patrolling, all these things. I was just flashbacking, make sure I have everything accurate. That was my idea, to write a book with the little radio. And he says he's a historian from New Hampshire, and he's a colonel, and he's a writer. He says, I can help you. Oh, my God, Bob.
Great.
Angels coming from out of nowhere. I'm a 9th grade educated Afghan. I'm saying, how am I going to finish that? I'm said, thank you, sir. Then we did a couple patrol together. We went to a couple villages, and he got in the plane. He left, come to Virginia, and then I left 6 months later, come to California. I contact him. Then that poor guy, I'm not calling him poor. He's a hero. He's my brother. Mm-hmm. He came like 7 times to California.
Wow.
To write my story. I was talking, he was typing. I was talking, he was typing. And then little radio, he listened to it, put it all together. It took us 2 years to finish, but I paid my dues for him, ma'am. I found him the best wife, Dr. Beth.
That's a pretty nice fee.
I pay back, and I found the best wife for him. And our book got nominated the Gold Medal, Military Society. Yeah. And Tom Hanks put a blurb, because I was working with Tom Hanks, Charlie Wilson. And President Obama is reading it right now. When you get a chance, go read his letter on my website, Fahim Speaks.
Yeah.
And President Bush, Tom Hanks, Bill Murray, Clint Eastwood, all these top, Zooey Deschanel, all these top, Julia Roberts, all these top actors, they're reading my book, and I have a picture and I have a proof. I don't have to bragging about it, but I'm honored to be part
that's
of.
Great.
I mean, without Michael, I probably never finish my dream, my third dream. And without Michael, I would not be who I am right now. I tell my stories all over the world in news and ABC News, CBS News, and especially with you.
Oh, yes. I'm here on American Snippets. Yes.
Yes. And
awesome.
I'm honored to be part of your show. And Michael did a lot. And him and I, we born May 30th. Huh. And we have a common birthday, and his mom was a midwife, and my mom was always a midwife, and that was the puzzle get together, and we did it, and we enjoy it, and the other good news you told me earlier, every dark has a light, every tunnel has a light. The light is to become a movie very soon, and we already he wrote a script about it, and the movies, we already got approached by 2 or 3 producers, one from 12 Strong, the TV show, the movie. I just finished it, and a couple of other producers, interesting, but we're looking for an investor. We're still looking to tell my story and my American dream on the movie, and to become a movie. And it's going to be a good example for American kids in the future.
Yeah.
And the future of the kids can see a 12 years old boy can have a dream, and where he ended up, or how he did it.
Yeah.
And I want to tell my American fellow, don't give up, make it happen.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can do it. And please do not take it for granted, this country. Appreciate your mom, appreciate your dad, and stay away from technology. Technology is a very, very, very damage to kids. Video gaming.
Yeah.
Do you remember we used to cry to go outside? Right now, if we send our kids outside, they're crying.
Yeah. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. I'm glad that my kids have kind of largely turned the corner and they love hiking and stuff now, but it was a battle. It was a battle. All right. So you've touched a lot of times on this question that we always ask. You know, we started again, American Snippets, drown out the divisiveness and do what you're doing, right? Remind people. For me, it was more like my husband died for this country. My family lost a lot for this country, and people are just sitting around complaining about it instead of like living it and experiencing it and being grateful for it. So that was a compelling force for me to do what we're doing here. So I love hearing, especially from people like you. But I also want to ask you, I know you've talked about it a lot. We believe in the American dream for a lot of the reasons that you've talked about. But if you had to define to somebody, if somebody from Afghanistan came to you and said, Fahim, what is the American dream? What would you tell them?
Yeah. Respect, appreciate. If a person of a country give you a paper, a shelter, do not turn your back to that country. Do not bring your fundamentalist culture to abuse. A country has been 235 years already built the right foundation. Do not bring your dark culture sometimes, not all of them, some of them dark, want to abuse this. Leave your culture. If you love it so much, why don't you go back, live there? Respect this country, respect the flag, respect the people, respect what this country gave it to you. Look at you. You have a church, you have a mosque, you have a synagogue, you have a temple, and show me other country have all these things. Go to Saudi, they won't allow you to have a church. Go other countries, they won't allow you to have a mosque. This country give you the freedom of speech. This country give you the freedom of religion. Please respect it. Respect. All I'm asking you, as American or as a foreigner or as a whoever you are, black, white, blue, whatever color you are, respect this country. You're not going to have the freedom you are. Look at me. I came in this country. I built a life for myself. You can do it. As American, you are born here. You whine. Why don't you go live in Africa, Afghanistan, India for 2 weeks and come back how to appreciate this country?
Love it. Love it. Thank you. We're going to take you on the road with us, man. We're planning our big event for next year, and we're definitely calling you to come talk at it.
I'd love to.
All
I'd
right.
love to be part
Fahim,
of it.
a little more, end on a lighter note here. If I could call up anybody right now, anybody in this country, anybody in the world, really, who you've never met, somebody you've never met, but you would love to meet, that's still alive today, that could physically come spend a day with you, who would that be?
Ronald Reagan.
No, he's got to be still alive. You're a rule breaker.
A person with a good role model, good father, a person has a faith, a person, a good husband, whoever you are. If you pass all these questions, good husband, good father, good faith, good loyal American, good humble human being, I'm there.
All right,
I cannot name them, but there's a bunch of them.
I'm going to send my fiance over then to meet you because that's who you just described.
Okay. I would love to meet him. I would love to meet him.
All right, Fahim, if people want to find out more about you, stay on top of your news when your movie comes out, order your book, get involved, where can they find you?
All you have to do, go www.fahimspeaks.com or just go all over the news, Instagram, anything, Fahim Fazli, Afghan actor. And I have 7 more movies coming up and 3 more TV shows coming up. And don't forget, watch John Legend, my music video, and Lenny Kravitz and Barry, Rock the Casbah, 12 is Strong.
Awesome.
I don't care about Hollywood. All I care about America, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, but you're doing it. You're living the dream.
That's a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a bonus. It was a bonus. I love it. I care about it. I'm not one of those show-off Hollywood guys.
Right.
I'm very humble about it. And I did what I did. And I made a list for you guys. Make sure I don't miss it.
That's great. Thank you. And we're going to put, we'll put the links out on our site, and we're going to blast out a whole bunch of info. And
I would love to.
Yep.
I would love to promote you guys. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are a brave woman. You lost your husband, and look at you where you are right now. And you've tried to motivate people. You're not a quitter. You know, ma'am, you're not a quitter. And you could have said, oh, my husband died, You lose your faith, your dream. But thank you. I want to thank you for all your braveness. I want to thank you for the people behind you, your fiance behind you, support you. And I want to thank you to America to bring you women's right. And you can stand up, be in front of the camera in front of me, interview a terrorist from movies.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. God bless America.
All right.
Take care.